If you like horror, hit that notification bell, smash that like button, and push that subscribe button now.
What's the boogeyman?
Hello, Sydney. Welcome to my nightmare. We want the man who did this.
Welcome to Nick Push's Horror Channel.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining me. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, May 21st. Holy shit. This year's flying by already. Crazy. Talking memorable horror deaths today. I'll get into what that means in a second. I got a slideshow of 25 of the most memorable deaths in horror that came to my head, and I'll kind of tell you how I came up with that in a moment. We got Allie here. What's up, Allie? Happy Tuesday to you. Hope you're having a good week. Next week's a holiday, so we got to kind of power through the rest of this week, get to the weekend so we can enjoy ourselves, because it is already Memorial Day next week, which is just insane. So you guys know me. I don't like to spend too much time with the pleasantries and all that. I like to get right into it. So memorable horror deaths. What does that mean? Okay. This is not a list of my top kills in horror movies. Nothing like that at all. You're going to see some crossover of what would be on my list. But this is quite simply a list of my deaths that popped in my mind in horror movies. Like I said, I got 25 slides to show of deaths in horror movies that popped in my mind. I did absolutely zero Googling for this. Okay. Zero. For me, I wanted to make it kind of organic. So memorable to me would mean I'm not sitting online Googling, best deaths in horror and things like that. So it's all going to be what popped in my mind. I got some from the Halloween franchise, some from Nightmare, some from Friday the 13th, of course, but it's not all of those movies. There's a handful in each of those movies, but I got a lot of different movies scattered in as well. So I got movies from the 70s all the way up till I think there's one movie from 2019, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Tommy Quinn's in the house as well. What's up, Tommy? So we got Tommy and Allie here. More people will filter in as I get going. These weekday live streams are, hit and miss sometimes, especially when I do them at the last second. So yeah. Allie says, that's a good job, Nick. I can't remember anything. Yeah, I literally was sitting in bed with the notes app on my phone, just kind of typing out deaths to grab. So let's get right into it, guys. No more screwing around. Number one. These are also in no particular order. Okay, no particular order. First one that popped in my mind, not really the first one that popped in my mind. This is just a slideshow I made, but we got Psycho here. Janet Leigh in Psycho. And as I go through this, guys, I got pictures of movies that might not be quite as obvious as this. So as we're going through, maybe I'll let you guys guess which movie it's from. But Janet Leigh in Psycho is 100% memorable, right? Nobody saw this coming. As Allie said right here, it is a classic, but nobody saw this coming, especially in the middle of the goddamn movie. It came out in what, 1960, right? So, I mean, you're looking at 64 years ago, and it's still, just iconic, and it's just kind of embedded into the the fabric of popular culture. So Psycho, Janet Leigh, definitely is on the list of memorable horror deaths for me. Tommy says, I think Cameron's death in Halloween Kills is my favorite kill. So that is not on my list. However, Tommy, I agree. It's a brutal, brutal death scene with Cameron there. He gets his ass beat and, stabbed and just beaten to bloody hell. And then Michael, decides to come and finish the job. And, he stops and just snaps his neck. Just brutal. Just absolutely brutal. Katie's in the house, popping the popcorn. Hey, Katie, how are you? You guys make sure you go check out Katie's channel as well. Popping the popcorn. She's got a lot of good stuff over there. All right, let's get to my next one here. Next one. I know Allie will know this one because, like me, she has become, unless I'm mistaken, but she's become a big Black Christmas fan. So yeah, this is, I can't even remember the character's name, but this is the plastic bag death in Black Christmas. I'll get to that in a second. Blake says, Nick, it's May and you're in Florida. What's with the jacket? Because I am just pounding the AC right now, man. Just pummeling the AC. Because it's fucking May and it's already like 90 degrees here. It's crazy. But this Black Christmas death is just something that it just always sticks with me, right? So just the way Billy pops out of the closet and just right away, just plastic bag right over the head. And then obviously throughout the movie, we see images of this shot right here where she's just completely suffocated to death. So before I get into my next one, let's talk about what memorable means to me. So some of these are going to be just great kills, right? Some of them are going to be great kills. Some of them are going to be deaths that hit me on like an emotional level, especially one that we're going to get to in the middle of this list here. And some of them are just going to be like just cool moments that always just stuck in my head. So that's kind of the criteria I used. And like I said, I did not Google anything, and it's just, lists of kills that popped up in my mind when I was trying to think of 25 ones. I am, Katie. I am. Ellie says, can't wait till October for It's Me, Billy 2. Yeah, McRae and Bruce Dale are definitely right smack dab in the middle of It's Me, Billy 2. I know they already finished filming. I think they're doing post-production. I got to get Dave on the show here to talk about that. I know he's been on Blake and Ronnie's show. I've done a show with him on another channel a couple of years ago, right after the first It's Me, Billy came out. And he's a good guy. And It's Me, Billy Chapter 1 or Part 1 was really, really well done. So all the credit in the world to McRae and Dale for that one. All right, next one. Sticking with the 70s here. These are not in order. They're not in year order, but the first few here are all 70s, it looks like. So Quint in Jaws. This one was always embedded in my brain. Just always from the moment I was a kid. I think, too, what helps here is I've probably seen Jaws more than I've seen any other movie, including Halloween, including Back to the Future, including, all my favorite movies, which Jaws is one of them. I think I've seen Jaws more than any other movie I've ever seen. It's between that and like Forrest Gump. So Quint's death, it's just building to this crescendo. And as Allie said, yeah, just so realistic. He starts sliding down the ship and, the shark's mouth is just waiting for him. And look at the fucking size of this shark's mouth. Look at it. And when it starts biting on Quint, you just hear the crackling and you see the blood coming out of Quint's mouth. And this is our badass shark hunter, right? The badass guy who survived the USS Indianapolis. Just absolutely crazy how effective this death is and just how brutal. And it still just gives me chills. So Quint from Jaws, 1975, absolutely one of the most memorable deaths in horror history, in my opinion. Oh yeah, Tommy, we will definitely be getting to that one shortly. All right, next. Sticking with the 70s. I didn't realize I put 70s movies in the top 4. Okay. You guys know what this is? Might be hard to tell, but it should be relatively obvious. Like I said, a 70s movie, end of the 70s. I'm sure someone will get it, but this is Alien, and this is the chest burster scene. They lull us to sleep with all this tension throughout the movie. And finally, the character's okay. I can't remember his name. The character's okay. They're eating dinner, and all of a sudden he starts coughing. And then he's coughing. He gets on the table, as you see here. And boom, right out of his chest, you get the xenomorph, the baby xenomorph. Just just incredible scene. Great shots by Ridley Scott on there, and just the way you finally get comfortable. They're finally eating dinner after he's finally okay after the face hugger incident, on his mask and then on his face, and you think he is okay until this happens. And sci-fi movies, horror movies have never been the same since. Absolutely. Oh yeah, if you're talking the Jaws ride at Universal Studios, that ride was unbelievable. Just so much fun. It sucks that it's gone. I've gone to Universal Studios quite a bit, and it's just not the same. Maybe because I'm not a Harry Potter guy, but that Jaws ride was absolutely incredible. It's unfortunate. It'll never be back. There were so many issues with that ride, up until, when Universal Studios opened in 1990, Spielberg was there cutting the tape because you had Jaws, you had E.T., all kinds of Spielberg shit. And the Jaws ride just famously had problem after problem. I think they were happy to get rid of it. Man, it was so fun. All right, let's see what's next on the list. All right, we're heading to Crystal Lake. This is actually my favorite kill in the Friday the 13th franchise. This is Andy. This is what Andy sees before he gets chopped in half from the balls, literally at the balls. He gets chopped in half by Jason. It's Jason's second kill in the mask, I believe, first being Vera. But this is just fucking brutal. Ellie, yep, correct. The handstand. Yeah, he's walking on his hands. They're setting it up the whole movie. And he's walking on his hands when Tracy Savage is in the shower. And, he's going to get her a beer. And he turns the corner. And I love the way he turns the corner. And we, as the audience, see Jason's legs and feet there. And we see him holding the machete. Andy looks up. Boom. Right down. Split, like I said, right from the balls. Just an insane kill. And like I said, it might be my favorite kill in the Friday the 13th franchise. That, and there's one more on this list that I go back and forth with. All right, next. I mean, how can I not have this on the list, right? You guys know me. I'm a Halloween guy, even though I haven't been talking about it too much lately. Saving that for October, by the way, with some retrospectives. But my favorite kill in the entire franchise is right here. And, it's for the shot. It's for the head tilt. First of all, I mean, look at what Cundy did here with the knife kind of glowing. We'll forget about the physics of how it's holding up Bob's big ass body. But Michael tilting his head, kind of like a cat, right? Or like a child, like realizing what he just did. And it's just brilliant. Talked about this kill at nauseam. Halloween franchise for many reasons, but Bob, you got a good one, man. You got a good one. Yeah, and just everything just surrounding this kill as well. This is what the third kill that we see, third kill if you count Judith that we see. And yeah, for real. Ellie says, geez, Cundy is so godlike to me. Yeah, Cundy's incredible. I mean, think about the films he's worked on. From the Halloween franchise, The Thing, all the Carpenter shit. Then you add in Back to the Future trilogy, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Jurassic Park. I mean, the guy would be on the Mount Rushmore of directors of photography for sure. All right. Next memorable death. You guys know what this is? It's kind of hard. It's kind of a little blurry. Some of these pictures were hard to get. I had to take some screenshots. But this is Tina from the OG Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. This is in the conversation. I'm telling you right now, this is in the conversation for greatest kills in horror history. This is memorable as hell to me. And once again, just like the Bob kill, everything leading up to it. With this is God, and all the little chase through the alley and everything. And this shot right here, this scene of what Rod is seeing is fucking it's terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. You know, he's seeing her get dragged up on the ceiling, which is just brilliantly performed by Wes Craven before CG and all that. You know, with an upside down room and all this shit. If you want to see how they shot this, you know, watch like an Elm Street documentary. It's pretty incredible. But Tina just screaming out, and her and Rod reaching for each other, him not knowing what to do, seeing her just cut up into like pieces. It's just fucking incredible. And this is when we realize, holy shit, this Fred Krueger guy is for real. You know, he's not just some, well, in this movie, he's not just some, you know, crazy guy popping around corners making quirks. He is fucking brutally gonna kill these kids, and he started with Tina. And this scene is it's just horrifying. It's absolutely just horrifying. All right, next. Sticking with Carpenter from a couple slides ago, we got the defibrillator scene from The Thing. Like I said, these just popped out in my head. And if you guys know me, you know I'm a huge fan of John Carpenter's The Thing. And this is once again, you know, just like in a couple other movies I mentioned, this is where shit just got real. You know, Norris is having a heart attack. You get, you know, the clear, and boom, his stomach opens up. You know, gets just kind of turns into teeth, right? Turns into teeth and chops this guy's arms off. And then his head starts, you know, Norris's head starts pulling away. They're getting the flamethrower out. It's just batshit crazy, this whole scene. And it's just fascinating to break down, you know, did The Thing take over Norris, and did he have a heart condition? Did The Thing fake the heart condition? You know, all kinds of shit here. But essentially this is the, you know, you gotta be fucking kidding me line. And it's just really, really well done. It's just a chaos after chaos once this scene starts. And it's just masterfully shot by Carpenter and Cundy again. All right, next. All right, who knows what this is? Allie, I know you're still in the chat. Does anyone know what movie this is? I'll give you guys about 10 seconds or so, and I'm going to tell you this is an emotional death, and it's from a very recent horror movie. Very recent horror movie. Hey, Davey Deathray in the house. What's up, Davey? How you doing, buddy? Scotty is correct. Dr. Sleep. This is Baseball Boy. Okay. I think that's actually his name in the credits. I stand to be corrected on that. This is fucking horrifying, guys. I'm a big fan of Dr. Sleep. I've mentioned it a couple times on the channel. But this is a horrifying scene. You got this group of people led by Rose the Hat, and they're looking to get the shine out of people. And this kid has the shine. That's how he's hitting, you know, 750 in his Little League game or whatever. But they kidnap this boy to kill him, and they drag him out into some junkyard, and they brutally fucking kill him. And not only that, they're surrounding him. They got him tied down, and this kid's screaming bloody murder. And he says to Rose, you know, it's something, and I'm paraphrasing here. Is this going to hurt? And she just looks at him and goes, yes. And then he just starts screaming more. And it's hard to watch. I even read that the actors playing this group of people, I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but the actors had trouble after this because the kid was just screaming bloody murder, and it just felt way too real. I still can't believe Flanagan pulled this off. And you know, just the scene. Like I said, the movie's only 5 years old. But this death just always stood out for me, this Baseball Boy from Dr. Sleep. So if you're just joining me, guys, these are my most memorable deaths in horror movies. And I did no Googling because I wanted it to be organic. I was just sitting around thinking about what deaths in horror movies really stuck out for me. Let's see, I've gotten through 9 of them so far. I got 25, so we're going to keep going here. Brett Patrick in the house. What's up, Brett? How you doing, buddy? Good to see ya. All right, next on the list. Going back to the Friday the 13th franchise. Like I said, I didn't want to have all Friday, Nightmare, and Halloween on here, but I do have maybe 2 or 3 from each franchise. I think 3 from each franchise. This is probably my favorite on-screen kill from Friday the 13th, 1980. And once again, it's the whole setup. Okay. After her and Kevin Bacon were doing things that Kevin Bacon likes to do. She goes off. Kevin Bacon gets killed in another memorable scene, right? You know, the arrow through there. But then you got Marcy in this outhouse. Okay. So Marcy's in this outhouse. And when I reviewed Friday the 13th a little over a year ago, we actually watched this scene and I broke it down kind of beat for beat. But there's so much good here. She's in the outhouse. You know, she's kind of playing with herself in the mirror, not playing with herself, but talking to herself in the mirror. That would be a different movie. That'd be Friday 5 probably. But, you know, she's talking to herself in the mirror. And you just get these different shots. It's raining outside. You get a shot through the window into the outhouse. You got all these stalls there that have you know, sheets over them like she's grabbing. And then you know, you see it open, you see the door open, and you see just feet, because we obviously don't know who the killer is. And she gets an axe to the head and right in the forehead. Great effect by Savini. And just the whole setup for this scene is really, really well done. And you know, what can you say? It's not Jason, but it's still a goddamn good kill, and it's always been memorable to me. So that is the 10th one on my list. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat, and then we'll get back to it. Like I said, Brett is here. Allie says good variety. Yeah, thanks, Allie. Like I said, I didn't want to have all just the main franchises, but I had to have some. Davey Death Ray talking to Allie. I don't want to get Davey's business all out there. Davey says, just doing it with Kevin Bacon. She just lets it happen. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. I mean, Kevin Bacon had a big boner earlier in the movie, as we saw in his Speedo. So, you know, can't blame her. All right, let's see what's next. Going back to the OG Halloween. The first, after all the buildup, we finally get Michael's first kill that we see in the year 1978. Obviously, we saw the Judith one, and the Freddie Mercury happened earlier that we didn't see. But we get him stalking Annie, and finally we get the crescendo of all that stalking, right? And this one's memorable for me, besides the fact, you know, that it's the first, you know, scene we see of Michael killing in the mask, right? But for me, it's just in the backseat of a car, you know? You get in a car, that's a safe spot, right? You get in your car, and you know, just the way the windows are fogged up, and it just clicks with her that hold on. I just went to get the keys. I was singing about the keys and Paul, and now the door's open. How did that happen? By the time it clicks with her, Michael pops up and kills her. How do you open the doors? People say he breaks a window, but if you broke a window, it won't be fogged up. That's a different conversation. But this whole scene is great. And you actually see a struggle here. You know, this isn't Michael just grabbing her. This isn't Michael of 2018 who would grab her and just snap her neck. You hear a struggle. You hear her trying to get out of it. And then he finally slits her throat. And we hear her, or we see her head hit the horn, and we hear the horn going off. Just really, really creepy stuff. Very realistic. Blake's in the house, says Bacon porked her. Exactly, Blake. Exactly. Me too, Allie. Me too. I almost included the kill from Urban Legend on here, but I didn't, because it was kind of the same reason that it was memorable, and this one's a little more memorable for me. All right, let's see what's next. I don't even remember what I put on here. All right, now we're getting into it. Tommy Quinn. Casey Becker from Scream. You know, the first 15 minutes of Scream, one could make an argument, and people have, that Scream peaked right here. And I won't argue with you. I'm a big Scream fan, but this first 15 minutes of the franchise of this OG, Scream never gets any better than this. And some of that's because, you know, we hadn't seen something like this before, really. Some of it's because we didn't expect Drew Barrymore to die because, up until like what, 96, before that, what was last Psycho, was when, our expectations were subverted with a famous horror actress or famous actress who, you expect to be the lead for the whole movie. Drew Barrymore was on the posters and everything, but she died right away here. And it's a brutal fucking kill. It's brutal for a few reasons. Number one, she has a kind of a drag out fight with Ghostface here. And then, she's holding the phone and her parents are hearing her on the other line as Ghostface is dragging her, almost corpse away, and they can hear her breathing. And then they see her hanging from the fucking tree. Just ridiculous. Blake, going back to Annie, says, I never knew she realized the door thing. I thought she was confused about the windshield being fogged. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I agree she was definitely confused about the windshield being fogged. Maybe she wasn't confused about the door thing. That's a good question. I'll have to think about that. I'll have to rewatch that scene. See if it clicks with her that the door was unlocked. But you're right. She definitely touches the window and goes kind of, huh. And then Michael pops up. Tommy, regarding Drew Barrymore, Casey Becker here says if she didn't stop running, though, she would have made it. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right, Tommy. She stopped. Did she stop because she saw her parents or something like that? I can't remember exactly why she stopped, but she definitely stopped. Davey Deathray says, by the way, go check out Davey Deathray's channel, guys. He is well over 600 subs now. He's growing at a ridiculous rate. And soon he's going to be owning the YouTube space. So make sure you go check him out, subscribe to him so you can get in at the ground floor. But anyway, Davey says, such a great opening scene and terrific kill. When she saw her parents driving up the way, she should have just ran to their car. Yep. Okay. I agree. Get the hell out of there. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Let's see what's next here. About halfway through. Back to Michael. I'm getting the Michael ones out of the way. This one's definitely memorable for a couple of reasons that we can't see. But in addition to those reasons, the whole hot tub thing and the whole, like, I don't know if they're in the basement of the hospital, but it's just brutal. I always liked Bud's death in the background too, where you just kind of see the silhouette of him being strangled. But Michael, very clever here too. You see him turn it up to scalding hot water. And then, Karen starts licking his fingers and all kinds of weird shit. She looks up, sees him, and he starts dunking her head. And obviously we get to, as it keeps going and going, we get, her face kind of melting off one by one. Michael's hand doesn't. Another story. But, her face just started melting off and you see her body just hit the floor. And her skin's kind of being peeled off. Just brutal. Drowning is one thing. Drowning in scalding hot water with just your face, it's gotta be just a terrible way to go. So Karen, you gave us a nice glimpse for a couple moments, but you got what was coming to you in the end. Davey says, even the TV cut of this kill is awesome. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely agreed. I haven't seen the TV cut in a while, but I think you're right. All right, let's see what's next. Okay, we're going back to the 70s here. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. This one always gets me. I can't even remember this fucking character's name. Okay, we'll just call him Hairy Chest Guy. Okay, but anyway, Hairy Chest Guy is curious. He goes in here, and I love this shot right here where you see, just him kind of going in the door, and we're looking from inside the house, and it's just creepy. And what's really creepy about this is, he kind of walks around, we get like the glimpse of, the door, what Hairy Chest Guy is seeing. And all of a sudden, Leatherface just pops out of nowhere and just fucking hits him with a mallet. And you see this guy, Hairy Chest Guy's body just kind of convulsing and shaking on the fucking ground. Like, it's really realistic and brutal. and then you get the great crescendo of Leatherface sliding that like metal door shut, and you just hear all the sounds, from the mallet hitting his skull to the door shutting, and it just comes out of nowhere because we hadn't seen Leatherface at all up until this point. It was just these guys in the blistering hot Texas sun wandering around, and just fucking brutal. Just absolutely brutal. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 74. It definitely is a strange movie, but it's really horrifying. It's really pouring rain here right now. Okay. And Davey's right. Yep, this one feels real. Agreed. A lot about this movie feels real. The heat, it just feels hot. In this movie, which is fitting because it's in Texas. All right, let's see what's next. Got about 10 or 11 left here. All right, another contender for my favorite kill in the Friday franchise. We got Mark, wheelchair guy from part 2, getting a backwards machete right to the face, and we all know what happens after this, right? He goes down the longest staircase in the history of movies, or in the history of history. And it's just fantastic. I love this when he's just kind of Mark's on the porch and you just kind of hear Harry Manfredini's score, and you don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, they're not going to kill a guy in a wheelchair, right? Especially a guy in a wheelchair that's not an asshole, right? He's the most wholesome guy. He might be the most wholesome guy in the franchise. But it's just crazy. And like I said, the machete is clearly backwards. But Jason just kind of comes out of nowhere, right? How does Mark not see him? So weird, but so effective, and such just a great scene. So Mark from Friday 2, absolutely memorable in my eyes. Davey says, but can someone tell me where the giant concrete staircase came from? Isn't the beach just right there? Right? So how high is Packanack Lodge from the beach? Is Crystal Lake kind of on a mountain? I mean, I guess we see big hills, right, in Friday 4 when Trish and her mom are doing the jogging, right? At the beginning of that movie, we see hills. But you're telling me that this camp has stairs like that, and they're going to have kids going down big stairs like that all the time to get to the water? No. Okay. Let's see what's next. All right, this is from the thumbnail. 13 Ghosts. Now we're going to get into some other movies finally. But this is from 13 Ghosts. This is The Lawyer, where you get the classic joke from Monk's Maid or something like that, which is like, did the lawyer split? It's right after this. But this is just memorable in my eyes because I wanted to have some more modern horror movies, so it wasn't all old stuff. But B, just because it's fucking brutal. I mean, look at this. They got these glass doors. This house is not a house, right? They got these glass like doors that just kind of shut on their own, and it just fucking splits it right in half. Not a lot of emotional weight to this death. Nothing at all. It's a filler death, especially for the time, in the late 90s, early 2000s, after Scream made horror cool again. They had a lot of deaths like this in movies. But this one, just effects wise, is cool because it splits him in half, and you see his body just slowly slide like it's starting to do in the picture here. Tommy Quinn says 13 Ghosts, very underrated. Yeah, always enjoyed 13 Ghosts. It's very much a product of its time. Like it feels early 2000s, late 90s, right? But there's some charm to that. I actually saw 13 Ghosts in the theater literally 4 times. I was in high school, I think, when it came out. And I remember we just kept going to see it because it was just, it was a fun movie to watch. And that's just kind of how I'd classify it. It's just a fun movie. It's finally started to get some love now. But yeah, I've always enjoyed 13 Ghosts. All right, next up, This one's fucking emotional on many, many levels as well. I'm sure you guys recognize this. This is Miko Hughes Gage from Pet Cemetery. You know, Miko Hughes has played a lot of great characters, from Gage here to Dylan and Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and now Dylan's New Nightmare, which is great, by the way. Cecil, who I think Davey's friends with, actually. Cecil and team did a fantastic job. I loved Dylan's New Nightmare. But you got Gage here. He's also in Full House, and he's the Boys Have a Penis, Girls Have a Vagina kid. But yeah, Miko Hughes plays him great here. Great child actor. And this is just brutal, mostly for the parents' reaction, right? I mean, you get the setup throughout this movie. The setup throughout this movie that these trucks just go flying down the hill, and they kill animals all the time, right? That's why the Pet Cemetery is there. And then Miko Hughes is chasing his kite or balloon or whatever, and man, just brutal to watch. This truck just fucking pummels him. And it's just very emotional death. And this is just such a bleak movie. I love Pet Cemetery. It's just so bleak, and there's no hope, and it's just, the tone is just very ominous throughout. So Gage's death in Pet Cemetery, definitely very memorable for me. It says it was so nice in the 90s. You could afford to go watch movies more than one time. No shit. Do you know how many movies in the last year or two I have refused to go see in the theaters because I'm not paying $20 to see a fucking movie? You know, some of them obviously I will if I'm really excited, but I don't go see movies anymore unless I really, really am looking forward to them. It's not just, oh, this one looks decent, let's go see it. No, it's a fucking chunk of change now. It's unfortunate. Davey says, oh man, excuse me while I go run cry in my pillow. No kidding. And Ellie up after watching this kill after becoming a mom. Oh my god, yeah, for real. All right, let's see what's next. Who knows what this movie is? This one's memorable for me, just because it's just something that always stuck with me. Another movie I saw a lot in the theater. It was right around similar time frame to 13 Ghosts and all that stuff. Does anyone know what movie this is? It's got a million sequels. All right, it is the OG Final Destination, and this is Todd, character who's Devon Saw's like best friend. Allie got it right. Yep, this is Devon Saw's best friend, and he is like shaving, or it doesn't look like he needs to shave, but he's in the bathroom, right, brushing his teeth or something, and you get Death coming after him. You know, this is the first time we actually see it after the plane, and you know, it's just water causing him to slip, and when he slips, he's got the string or the wire by the shower, and it strangles him, and he can't reach anything. He can't reach his scissors to cut it, and he's slowly just fucking being strangled to death. And it's just such a brutal, slow death, and they really just hang on him trying to get out of it. And I've always felt it. I've always felt how brutal this is. And I'm not a torture porn guy, and I don't think I would probably call this torture porn in the vein of like Saw and Hostel and stuff like that. But this one it just always stuck with me. It's always been memorable because of how long that they drag this out and how close he is to being able to get out of there, but he just can't because he's slipping, and the water came, and then Death covers up its tracks after that by having the water just go away. It's just bizarre. That thing is bizarre, but yeah, this scene and this death of the character Todd, just always brutal to me. Tommy got it right as well. Ellie says, I watched this scene and I can't breathe. Yeah, no kidding. I haven't seen this since VHS. Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while either. I'm not a huge Final Destination franchise guy, but I've always liked the first one. I think it's because of my age. Like I said, I saw this in the theater multiple times as well because it was just, horror was hot back then. Like it's hot right now too. But to Ellie's point, I could afford it back then. All right, we got to get back to Freddy. I actually got 2 kills from this movie. And this is the first one from this movie. This is from Dream Warriors. And this is probably the most famous kill in the Nightmare franchise. Like I said, I think the Tina kill is the best kill in the Nightmare franchise and arguably in horror history. But we got to have Welcome to Primetime, bitch, right? This, for better or worse, this turned Freddy into what he became. I think this movie and this kill turned Freddy into what he became. If they would have kept him on a level here tonally, it would have been fine. But they crossed over after this because they saw how gold it was to have Freddy saying shit like this. But it's great the way the arms come out of the TV and Freddy's head just kind of pops up with the antennas and just his voice here. It's just great. Your big break. Welcome to prime time, bitch. Boom. Oh my God, it's so good. So fucking good. It's actually the first horror movie I ever saw. I was 5 years old, I believe, and it just stuck with me. So yeah, Welcome to Primetime, bitch. Absolutely deserves a spot in my list of most memorable horror deaths. And Davey's right. This is a stand up and cheer moment. Yep. That's an excellent analogy there, Davey. Yep. It's one of those ones where you just kind of clap because you're like, that was fucking good. That was really good. All right. Next. This is a movie I actually hadn't seen until relatively recently. This is probably the most famous head explosion in, if not horror history, maybe movie history. It's from Scanners. Yep, Davey's right. Scanners. This is a batshit crazy movie. Like I said, I hadn't seen it till relatively recently. Obviously, I knew about the head explosion. Okay. I knew it was coming at some point because it's so fucking famous, right? You think of Scanners, you think of this guy's head exploding. But even knowing it was coming, it's still super memorable because it's so fucking well done. I mean, look at this picture. This guy's head just explodes. Just insane. And I think this has to be on any list of memorable horror deaths. Because up until this point, this is early 80s, right? I think Scanners came out. I think it was it 81, 80? It was something like that. This is Cronenberg, I believe. So yeah, when you think of head explosions, I think most people will think of Scanners, and for good reason, because it's just super, super well done. Ellie says the Deadly Friend had a great head explosion with the basketball. I've never seen the Deadly Friend. I'll have to check that out. I've heard of it, but I'm slacking. I'm slacking on my new shit lately. Really am. Work has been kicking my ass lately. But yeah, who doesn't love a good head explosion, right? It's classic. It's absolutely classic. All right, let's see what's next here. Who knows what this movie is? Blake, are you still here? Who knows what this movie is? I'm going to give you guys a moment for this. Looks like a car, bunch of smoke around it. I'm going to give you guys a second for this. This is one that always stuck with me as well. I mean, that's what all these are, right? It's memorable horror deaths. But this one it stuck with me. Yep, Blake's got it. Tremors. So here's the deal. There are a lot of better kills in Tremors, right? There just are. This one, we don't even know how big the graboid, as it would later be called. We don't know how big the graboid is. We just see the little, things that come out of its mouth. But what always got me, the reason this is memorable to me is just imagine being in your car and being pulled under the dirt and fucking suffocating like that. Like that just always got me. And this is like, I think it's a husband and wife. It might be like an older couple. I can't remember if there's any kids in there. I don't think so. But this always just stuck with me just because it's just brutally, being dragged under by this creature, which, like I said, we don't even know how big it is at this point. We don't know that there's 3 of them. Was there 3 or 4? Was there 4 and they killed one and there was 3 left, or 3 and 2? I don't know. But anyway, they drags their fucking car underground. And then later, I think Val and Earl come and they see that, there's like lights coming from the ground, and they see that they've suffocated. They've suffocated to death all night. So it's just really, really, really creepy scene. And this kind of told you, you're gonna have to get higher than that. You can't just get off the ground a little bit. This thing will just fucking pull you under. Davey says Tremors is incredibly fun. It's like 50s, 60s B movie meets Jaws in the desert. Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun. I haven't seen too many of the sequels. I've seen the second one. It's okay. It's okay. That's all I'll give it is okay. It's watchable-ish. But I haven't seen anything after that. But yeah, it's a really, really fun movie. And, the effects in it, if this is 1990, we're talking, right? The effects in it are really, really good. Ellie says she needs to revisit Tremors. Tommy needs to watch it. Yeah, you guys need to check it out. It's really good. All right, we got 4 left. This one's extremely challenging. I'm going to give you guys a moment. It's a grainy, blurry picture, but this is exactly how it appears on screen. Does anyone know what this movie is? I'll give you a clue. It's relatively recent, like within the last 20 years. This one's like a holy fuck. This is a jump scare. This is a good ass jump scare. Tommy is correct. Sinister. Sinister, by the way. Hey, what's up, Josh? How you doing? Josh from Real Dead is here. But Sinister, by the way, might be the scariest movie I've seen. Scariest movie that came out in the last 30 years, in my opinion. Ethan Hawke's fantastic in it, but you get these videotapes of things that are happening with this demon forcing, family or people to die, and it's really good. And this scene that always stuck with me because he puts in a tape, and you see this lawnmower going at night, and that's what this picture is here. It's a lawnmower going at night, and it's going, and then boom, fucking runs over like a guy or a family, and it just comes out of nowhere as a great just jump scare. And it's like, holy fuck, could you imagine seeing that? It's really, really well done. Allie, I would highly, highly suggest watching Sinister. The second one's it's okay, but the first one with Ethan Hawke, I'm telling you right now, like, if you watch it, Allie, contact me and let me know. Let me know if it's scary to you, because I'm telling you, I think it's one of the scariest movies of all time. Like, that's how good it is. I don't say that lightly. I'm not a guy that gets scared watching movies, like when I was a kid. But Sinister scared me. And that's why I just found it so refreshing. Tommy agrees. Tommy says, yes, Allie, it's scary. I'm glad I'm not alone here. I'm glad I'm not a puss. All right. Who knows what this one is? This is in my top 20 horror movies of all time. I love this scene. It's just, like I said, this is not good. These are not the best deaths in horror. These are ones that I found most memorable. Davey Death Ray is correct. He says The Blob. Yep, I love The Blob, 1988. It's a remake. I had a couple of remakes on here with The Thing now, and now The Blob. I adore The Blob, 1988. I think it is super, super well done. It kind of seems ridiculous, right? You got this blob of pink goo running around town or crawling around town, killing people. But it's extremely scary and extremely well done. And I always love this phone booth scene because you got this waitress here who just saw her coworker be pulled through a sink. And so she's running around, the blob's chasing her. She finally gets outside to the phone booth and look around, and this is what you see. The blob, which is fucking huge now, surrounding the phone booth. You see the sheriff, his dead body, inside the blob, because the blob already killed him. And it essentially just crushes the phone booth, and one can assume eats her up as well. Super well done, super scary. Not super scary, but super just ominous and creepy. And I just love the tone of this movie. Yeah, the blob is great, and I love this scene. Blake says phone booth. Yep. Ellie says the last movie that scared me was Hell House Origins. I've never seen Hell House Origins. Josh says he still needs to see the Blob 88. Yeah. Let me know what you think if you watch it. It's really good. It's really 80s, but I'm a sucker for some like 80s monster movies and things like that seem like, obviously it's a remake of a movie from the 50s. There's a couple creative decisions I'm not a huge fan of in the Blob 1988, but that's nitpicking. I really, really like it. Ellie says best phone booth scene is the birds, though. Hard to argue with that. Hitchcock's The Burbs, I always found super, super creepy. And maybe because it just seemed realistic, a bunch of birds going crazy. Blake says Allie's wrong, and his rebuttal is Bill and Ted, which I also can't argue with because god damn, I love Bill and Ted. Yep, Rufus was a genius. All right, I got 2 left, guys. Going back to Nightmare 3, as I told you guys earlier, this is the first horror movie I ever saw. I was about 5 years old. And this one always stuck with me because, dear God, dear fucking Lord, you got Philip here who is into puppets, right? He's got these puppets hanging up. And then you have Freddy Krueger, who now is really toying with people. And he turns into a puppet. And you get the great scene of him cutting himself down and then standing up by the bed. And then he takes his knives and slits Philip his arms and his legs, and he's using his tendons to be the puppet master. And you see him, Philip, walking through the hospital as a puppet, but he's using his tendons there as the strings. And just look at how brutal that fucking looks. I mean, I don't know how you can watch this scene and not just cringe a little. 1987, pretty goddamn good effects there. Like, just look at his hands, the way they're slit open like that. Like, it's just really, 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 really brutal. Tommy Quinn says Phone Booth with Colin Farrell is a great film. I like that film too. I think what's his face? Guy that plays Jack Bauer and Kiefer Sutherland. I think he's the voice on the other end of the phone in that movie. I enjoyed that movie as well. Josh from Real Dead says, "What torture? What a kill from Freddy." Yeah, this was pretty goddamn creative. Absolutely. Ellie says this is a great one too. Always looked so painful. Yes, agreed. It's just always one that made me cringe. All right, finally, I think this is the last one here coming up. Guarantee nobody knows what this is from. I'm gonna give you guys a second. This is one that stuck with me. I'm gonna give you guys a second. I'm trying to think of some clues here for you guys because this is really tough. I will say a clue is this movie came out the same year as Tremors. I'm trying to think of another clue without giving it away. Does anyone know? It came out in 1990, just like Tremors. It's the opening kill of this movie. And it's a little unconventional as far as movie picks go. But some Davey knows. Nice job, Davey. Arachnophobia. So Davey's correct. Nice job, Davey. That's impressive. This kill always stuck with me for mainly the reason of this. So this is the opening this is the opening kind of scene-ish of the movie. Like I said, the opening kill. And this guy's in South America doing whatever with a group of people. And this fucking tarantula, and I don't know what the correct term is, but basically a fucking tarantula crawls in his sleep. He's not feeling well. And the tarantula crawls in his sleeping bag, and you see it crawling up his leg, and it just like it bites him. You see the 2 claws just bite into like his thigh or his groin or something, and the venom just fucking kills him. But just thinking of being in a sleeping bag, okay, you're tucked away and are sleeping. I don't even know if it's a sleeping bag, but he's sleeping, and the spider crawls in while he's sleeping. Like just gives me the willies. I had a birthday party when I was really young kid, a few years after this came out, and we watched Arachnophobia, and I was just stuck with me. Josh says, love the spider movie. Yep. It's Grandma on VHS. Davey says, probably misspelled that one. I'm a spider nut. Been a nerd for them since I was a kid, so I watched this movie tons when it came out. Yeah, I love this movie. I just rewatched it maybe 2 years ago or something like that for the first time in a while. It holds up. I don't care what anyone says. It's really good. I love Jeff Daniels in it. John Goodman, obviously. The guy that plays like the spider expert, I think he might be dead now, but he was in a bunch of other stuff too. Arachnophobia is a good movie. Once again, it's a product of its time, early 90s, 1990 to be specific, but it's a fun movie. And it feels real, because it's not just a bunch of CGI spiders. They used real spiders for this. They trained spiders. And especially at the end, when the spiders take over Jeff Daniels' house. Thank you, Davey. It's Julian Sands. Yes, thank you. I think he just died recently, or no, something happened to him, right? He didn't he go missing or something like that? But he's really good in it. But yeah, they use real spiders. All these spiders crawling all over the wall in Jeff Daniels' house. Those are fucking real spiders, and you can tell. This is an 8-Legged Freaks, which I think is a fine movie, actually. Like, it's fun. But it's not a bunch of CGI shit. It's real, which is really, really cool. Scotty says, even Mimi Bobek from Drew Carey show was in Arachnophobia. That's right. I forgot she was in it. You're right. Davey's right. That's right. He went missing on a hike. He's presumed dead. Loved him in that Warlock series too. Yeah, that's really sad. I mean, just go missing on a hike. It's just crazy. But yeah, so those are the 25. I kept it at 25 because I didn't want to be here all night. But those are the 25 most memorable horror deaths that I could think of. Like I said, I did zero Googling. I did zero looking at lists, zero watching other YouTube videos about this. I just I wanted it to be organic, so I just went off the top of my head and pulled up 25 off the top of my head. You ask me a month from now, I'll probably have 17 of these be the same and 8 different ones. I'm sure there's a few others that I missed that I would find memorable. But yeah, Ellie, never hike alone. Well said, Ellie. Well played. Oh, Davey, I'm going to have to ask you about this. That's a fascinating place to grow up. That's awesome. I'll have to ask you about that. That is cool. Josh says, good listening. I watched the replay for what I missed. Thank you, buddy. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me tonight, guys. I just wanted to kind of get this out there. Hadn't done a live stream in quite a bit. Like I said, I'm not the guy for all the small talk before and after the stream. I like to do my list, get out, and get some fucking sleep. But I appreciate everyone being active in the chat. I know I kind of did this last minute. I appreciate you guys all showing up. I appreciate you guys watching, if you're watching after the fact. Still don't know how Davey got this picture right. Pretty impressive, but I guess he's a spider nut. So hope everyone has a good night. I hope everyone has a good rest of their week, and happy Memorial Day. If you're, a U.S. citizen and you celebrate Memorial Day, even if you don't celebrate it, it's a day off of work, assuming you get off of work. I hope you do. So I hope you guys have fun this weekend. I hope you watch some movies, but also go out and enjoy life. Life's not just about YouTube and movies and shit like that. It's a fun outlet, but enjoy life. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you guys next time.